Hello everyone. In today's Solidworks tutorial, we're going to model this wire phone holder using the 3D sketch tool and a simple sweep. Once the sweep is done, we'll create a multi-body part and add in this little vinyl end cap shown here. This will be a great tutorial for anyone that's new to the 3D sketching tool. Before we get started, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to get notifications about the other great videos on the channel. Alright, let's get started with our 3D sketch. We're going to start by opening up a new part file, making sure that the units are set to inch, pound, seconds. And we're going to create a new 3D sketch by going up to the sketch icon here and hitting the drop-down menu and selecting 3D sketch. And we're going to create a center point circle. This is going to be a base reference circle. Now you'll notice that we didn't select a plane here, and we're just simply starting the sketch at the origin. But if we hit the tab button, we see that our axis is changing planes here. So this would be the ZY, the YZ, and then the XY. Or excuse me, the ZX. So this is allowing us to create lines on the different planes and quickly transition as we're creating our sketch. So we will start by creating a center point circle in the ZX plane, like so. And we're going to make it a construction circle. And set the diameter to be equal to 2.75 inches. And it's still underdefined, so what we want to do is select the circle, hold Control, and select our top plane. And we will put it on plane, like so, and hit OK. So now our construction circle is fully defined, and you always want to fully define your sketches. So now we're going to create a simple center point arc, again on the ZX plane. And we're just going to loop almost all the way around and stop right about there. And hit Escape to close out the tool. And we want to align this endpoint here to the origin along the x-axis. Like so. And we're going to close out of that and add two center lines, one going from that endpoint to the origin, and then another one from the origin to the other endpoint. And to close out our line tool, we could hit Escape, or we could simply do a quick double click. It's a neat little shortcut in SolidWorks. And we're going to add a dimension to measure this angle. And we will set the angle to be 32.72 degrees. Alright, our sketch is still underdefined, So we're going to hold Control, select our arc, and then select our construction circle, and we're going to make them co-radial. Alright, our sketch is fully defined, and we're ready to continue. We'll start by making a line that runs from this endpoint of the base in the ZX plane through the origin and to about there. Now we want to start drawing a vertical line up in the YX plane, so we're going to hit our Tab key like so. So now we're drawing a line vertically up. Okay. So now we want to draw one in the YZ plane, like so. And now in the XY plane again, we're going to draw a nice angled line. And then another line there, like that. So we're starting to get our basic shape here. And a horizontal line for the base of our stand. Then another line there. And last, another angled line for the phone to rest on. I'll hit OK, just so you can see what our sketch looks like. Okay, but we need to fully define it, so let's go back into it. We'll go to Edit Sketch, and we're going to add some dimensions and relations. We'll start with our relations. So we know this line and this line are going to be perpendicular to one another. Same thing with the vertical line and this top horizontal line. They'll be perpendicular. And the horizontal line and the angled line. That one's already set to be perpendicular. Add one there. And there. And there. Okay. We know that this line and this line are going to be parallel. They're also going to be equal. And this line and this line are going to be parallel. They won't be equal though. Okay, now let's start adding some dimensions. We know that this vertical line here is going to be 3.50 inches. We know that the horizontal line here on the base is going to be 2.25 inches. So now those two lines are fully defined. This top horizontal line is going to be 0.875 inches. This angled line is going to be 3.12 inches in length, but we need to set the angle here as well. So we're going to hit escape to close out our smart dimensions, and we're going to add a center line to this endpoint here, going down vertically, and we're going to add a dimension between that construction line and the line we want to fully define. And we're going to set that angle to be 38.86 degrees and hit OK. So now that line is fully defined. The length of this line is going to be 0.75 inches. And this line will be 1.75 inches. And last but not least, this line will be 2 inches. Like so. And now our sketch for our phone stand is fully defined. But we need to add some corner bends because this part's going to be made from a single piece of wire, and these 90-degree corners just aren't realistic. So we'll select Sketch Fillet, and we'll set the radius to be equal to 1/8 or 0.125 inches. And we're just going to select each corner here. Since we're doing multiple selections, let's pin the tool to keep it visible. And as we go through here, you'll see that our sketch is going to go from fully defined to underdefined. Once we add all of our corner radii, we'll circle back and fully define it. We're just going through here and selecting each bend. And you'll get these pop-ups here because of the equal distant relations. So just hit yes to those. We now have all of our corner bends, but we need to fully define our sketch again. The first thing we're going to do is re-add the length dimension for this bottom line. And since we have the corner bends in, we're going to pick this endpoint here and this endpoint right here. And again, the length should be 2.25 inches. So we'll do that. But the sketch is still underdefined, and I'm not sure why. So in this instance, the best thing to do is simply to pick a point and drag it to see what happens. So we see that the line on the bottom is no longer centered at the origin, and that endpoint reference is free to move on the construction line. So we need to fix both of those items. We'll start by selecting the endpoint and our construction circle, holding Control and clicking on both, and then create a coincident mate, like so. Now we'll select our solid line and the origin, and again creating another coincident mate, like so. And our sketch is now fully defined again, and we're ready to do our sweep. So we'll exit our sketch, and create our sweep. Go to the Features tab, and select Sweep Boss Base. And we have two options here. We can either use a sketch profile, where we would use a separate sketch for the profile of our sweep, or we can do a simple circular sweep. Since our wire is going to be circular, we can select that to save us from having to create a secondary sketch. And here we can select our path, which is just going to be our 3D sketch. And for the wire diameter here, we're going to set it to be 0.125 inches, or 1/8 of an inch, in diameter. You have a few other options here. You could create a thin feature if you wanted, where it would be a hollowed tube, like so. But we'll keep our wire solid. And we'll hit OK. So now we have our solid body, but we need to set the material. So we're going to go here to Material, right-click, and hit Edit. And we want to set it to be brass, which can be found under the Copper Alloys folder. So there's brass right there. And we'll hit Apply and Close. And we've now created our solid body for our frame. Now we just have to add our vinyl end cap. We're going to go up to Extruded Boss Base, and we're going to select the top end face of our sweep. And the first thing we're going to do is select the Offset Entities tool and set the distance to be 0.02 inches, and just select the diameter of our sweep. This will create the outer diameter of our end cap, and hit the green checkbox. And to create our end cap inner diameter, we're simply going to select Convert Entities and select this edge again and hit OK. Now we'll exit our sketch and extrude in the bottom direction for a length of 0.375 inches, and we will uncheck this Merge Results option here and hit OK. So now this created two separate bodies. We have our sweep and we have our Boss Extrude 2, which we can simply name End Cap. And we want to create the top part of our end cap. So again, we're going to go up to Extruded Boss Base and select the top surface here, Convert Entities, and select our outer edge and hit OK. And exit our sketch. We want our extrude length to be 0.0625 inches and hit enter. And we're going to keep the merge results checked, and on the bottom here we're going to keep the selected bodies checked but uncheck this auto select. So now we have to pick which body we want to merge with. So if we expand out our feature tree and our solid bodies folder, we'll select our end cap. So this extrude will merge with the extrude for the end cap to create one single part, and we'll hit OK. So now we have our sweep and we have our end cap. And we're going to create a fillet on this top edge, and we'll set the radius to be equal to 0.0325 inches and hit OK. And the last thing we need to do for this project is set our material for the end cap, or rather to set the appearance of the material. So we'll select our end cap and go to Appearances and select Body. And we're going to go to Plastics and go to the Clear Plastics folder and select the Frosted Plastic option and hit OK. And we've now successfully completed our phone holder. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. We covered a lot of ground with 3D sketches, sweeps, and multi-body parts. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button, which helps us out a great deal with the YouTube algorithm, and also be sure to subscribe to get notifications about future videos on the channel. I'm also excited to announce that the Krawchuk Industries website is now up and running, and you'll find the link in the description below. Thank you and have a great day.